Hii boti ni ati ilikuwa ni buy nirudi nayo Kole. Mimi nikaanzia tao. So now walking back to Kole, hiyo time is like nikaanza tu kwa psychotic and I started stoning cars. The first car ilikuwa a private car, that one ili speed off. But the second vehicle ilikuwa mat. Mat hakuna vile, nani huyo anajiona mauru sana kwa road, Wao alishuka na nikaanza kupigwa mob. Hi, my name is Tony Kibet. I'm 26 years old. I'm a graphic designer and a filmmaker. Before all this, before I could achieve any of these things, I was a drug addict. The very first introduction to drugs was in high school. I just transferred from a private school, Light Academy, and went to a public school, High. That was in 2008. So going to High, I met someone who now introduced me for the very first time in my life to marijuana. But now it didn't go into any depth because that very first puff that I had, for me it was quite a scaring experience. I even thought this guy would rob me or something, It's like how you're having a drink and someone puts mchele, So I kind of thought, this guy's giving me something poisonous. So that first time in high school, I never went back to it again. But then I picked it now in campus, where it was more of a very misguided notion or a very wrong perception that drinking is cool. And this happened after, immediately after Form 4, that is 2009. I visited my sister at Mo University, and that time, the 2 weeks that I spent with her, I just got a new definition of freedom, because I was like, these 2 weeks that I'm with her, no one is really caring about whether she's going to class, I kind of admired it. So in 2010, when I now joined campus, I joined Kenya Utalii College, I was now looking forward to that kind of freedom. And indeed, I got it. And that's how I started drinking. My drugs of choice for the 2 years that I was now using drugs, my drugs of choice were alcohol and marijuana. But then I usually say I was lucky because now 10 years later, that's not the same case. We have more drugs are available, So for me that time, it was just marijuana and alcohol. But then I will still use anything that will come my way, kitu kama kuber and other things. There are things zenye mabeste wanaweza leta and like they tell you these things can give you a high and you're like nayo. So sometimes you just even consume things that you don't know, pills, things like those. What happened for the social drinking to transition into now that kind of addiction was a broken relationship. Hiyo ndio stuff really happen, as in kuna dem nilikuwa na date, we were in the same class, and when the relationship got ended, hiyo kitu it really affected me because mimi niliingia kampo na ma highlights, I was this guy that everyone knew, and I had a nickname. Nickname ilikuwa Mchanga. Mchanga was Mchanga in English, Mchanga is soil, okay? Now from the word soil, what do you get? So ill. Sasa ilikuwa tu ilikuwa tu ule mse, now you can imagine tu mse tu kampo, everyone knows about them. But sasa after hiyo story ya relationship kuisha, I just imagined in my head, now the whole school inajua ule mse aliachwa na dem yake. So I think it kind of ruined my esteem. I really wanted just to be high every time. It stopped being the social drinking. Sasa ikakuwa tu I just want to be high all the time. And I never knew now this is what addiction is. For me, I just wanted to drown my sorrows. I wanted to, just stay high, forget my problems, And I got into depression. I would go to the school counselor. Yeye ndio akasema I should be admitted to a psychiatric ward. So all those events that took place, my parents knew something was going on. But then I don't think they really knew the depth of it, because you see I had a hostel, I was away from home. So kuna story tu mob wangekuwa nasikia, this guy is doing this in school, nini. But I really don't think they knew the depth of my using. I was admitted now again to the psychiatric ward a second time. This was after I nili exhibit some sort of psychotic behavior. There's a day sasa I took a whole bottle ya vodka fulani 750, nilikuwa dry. Hii bottle ni ati ilikuwa ni buy nirudi nayo Kole. Mimi nikaanzia tao, nikipewa. So by the time na light like chuo sasa, unajua mati linipitisha ikanieka the next stage. So now walking back to Kole, hiyo time is like nikaanza tu kwa psychotic and I started stoning cars. The first car ilikuwa a private car, that one ili speed off. But the second vehicle ilikuwa mat. Mat hakuna vile, you know, nani huyo anajiona mauru sana kwa road, you know. Alishuka na nikaanza kupigwa mob. It was all happening on Thika Road, just next to traffic headquarters. Sakarautu fulani alikam ndio aka intervene, nikapelekwa Muthaiga police station. So immediately after kutoka cell nikapelekwa now to the psych ward again. Mimi nilikuwa naendeo psych ward, najua ndio rehab. So nikitoka naambia maboys, mazee nimekuwa rehab. So sasa mimi mazee ngusu isipite kwangu, you know. Lakini sana nikaambiwa rehab. So now nilikuwa naambia there's this place called rehab where you are going to stay for 90 days. And I was like, you guys are crazy. 2 weeks was already bad enough. Utanipelekaje place 90 days, 3 months. So I had to be tricked. So alikam kwa hao wakaniambia tunaenda place fulani nini. But nikajipata ndi rehab tunaenda. Lakini kuna vile tu nilikuwa na idea. Nilikuwa na feeling tu, instinct tu fulani hasa mpeleka rehab. But I told myself acha ni cooperate, but ile place tunaenda nikiona signboard yote ya rehab, I'm out. But then the place you are going haikuwa na hiyo like uko nje, nilikuwa tu place posh huko Limuru. Lakini when we were driving in nikaona now through the reception something rehabilitation center. Kajua tu wenyewe they got me. Rehab nilika 3 months. That's where my turning point happened. You know, for the first 1 month most people in rehab wanna feel walitupwa, you know. But that like that change of mindset, ile kurealize, you know, it was love that uliletwa huku. Right now I have an initiative. It's a Christian based support group inaitwa Triumph Ministry, which we are actually in the process of registering as an NGO. The main reason why we had this idea of this ministry was to address relapse. Our mission is to mobilize the former drug addicts and to engage them in Christ-centered activities. The key word there is Christ-centered. To any person, young person, boy, girl, if you're really affected by drugs, alcohol, or any other challenge, there's just a word that I want to share with you. Ni 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13 to 15. Inasema, no trial has overtaken you that is not faced by others, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tried beyond what you are able to bear. But with the trial, we will also provide a way out so that you may be able to endure it. Hiyo ni word. And for me, the word is truth. So just from that message, that's word that I use to face any challenge in life. Yani hakuna kitu bigi sana, hakuna kitu enye imekam kwetu enye God ajui. So let's face it with boldness, with courage, na tujue tu God is yakatuacha. And my message, stay triumphant.